guest of honor's speech. So the rest, maybe just take note of the time and try to cut your speeches short as much as we can. So I earlier called upon those that are making statements and speeches to come assume these roles in front. So please, Chimwemwe Kawonga, Adrian Daisaba, Chikundi Chasupa, Eric Makwinja, and our councillor Kano Jerera, please occupy the seats, their name tags there. Sit according to the names if you can, so that one speech after the other, we don't waste much time with the movement. It should be running as the program is going. Someone will walk away with something, I'm sure. So as they're relocating, let's have announcement about the competition.
So can you just go online? Okay, some of us, can we just go online and then go to Sego Malawi and then like the page? Not like there is a free Wi-Fi here and we can make use of that. So on Facebook, that is the Isego Malawi, and on Instagram, Isego Malawi as well. On TikTok, Isego Malawi, and Twitter as well. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So you're going to invite other people to like and comment on your comment. So the comment that will generate more likes, that will be a winning comment. So we have about 4 t-shirts. Okay, so our sister here, can you just stand up? So we have a very nice Comisa Sego t-shirt, and that's the track view. Okay, so we have 4 t-shirts up for grabs. So the comment with more likes and more comments, you'll win one of those. I don't know if this is clear. Do you have any question regarding the competition or maybe our social media platforms?
How much time will you give for the comments to come on the comments?
Okay, I think we'll run the competition up to 3, and then after 3 we'll do the assessment to see like the comments with more likes and what have you. But now at the moment, just go to our page, like our pages, and also invite others to like our pages on all platforms. Thank you. No, because like you're the one who is going to do that comment, and you invite your friend to write your comment. So like the face. Have I answered your question? Because you're the one who will be commenting on that. Okay, so like after commenting on that, you invite your friends to like your comment and what have you. So okay, so it will be a post about whatever is happening. I think you have to like that post and share it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Civil Executive Director, you will be making your way forward. For those that came late, we have free internet, free Wi-Fi here. I think the username was Komesa and the password was 2022. Am I right? So just check your Wi-Fi if you find the username Komesa and the password is 2022.
Alaba Fani Kano, who is our Deputy Mayor for the great city of Blantyre. Mr. Adrian Daisaba from Commercial Secretariat, who is here implementing the intervention. Our Principal Youth Officer for the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Our officials from the National Planning Commission. Also here we have our board members from Sego. I recognize Madam Monica Zonzi. You can stand, Madam, that COMESA decided to entrust us as Sego that we can host this important Indaba on youth and national development. It's not something easy for a baby organization that is less than a year old to be entrusted with such a task of organizing such a high-profile event. So thank you so much, Bwana Adrian. Please convey my heartfelt appreciation even to the director that she decided that at Sego we could host this function here in the beautiful city of Blantyre. Our guest of honor, we are here today of course, primarily because we wanted to share the key messages from the COMESA Youth Leaders Bootcamp that we shared through the video, so that young people who are not there at the COMESA Youth Leaders Bootcamp in Arusha, Tanzania, can appreciate what their peers did discuss there in Tanzania. I believe perhaps they've been inspired by what their fellow young people did deliberate in relation to issues of enhancing democratic governance and youth leadership in various spaces. Your Honor, you will recall that this year in June, Malawi will be turning 29 years of our multi-party dispensation. But you can appreciate that young people remain limited in terms of even participation, even running for public office. Currently, you are when a guest of honor, we only have 9 people who are 35 and below in the 192 member office of the National Assembly, which is representing maybe slightly about 5%. So this is not on considering the majority of young people who are in this country that also needed to take leadership in issues of decision making. Same with in local government. I think out of the 462 seats that we have in local government, it's only 40 people that are young people who are 35 and below. So I believe with interventions like this, we are geared to change the status quo. And as SEGO will be happy to see that most of you young people are able now to run for office in 2025. We'll be happy to see Bwana Consider running in Blantyre Bangwe, or Bwana Yamikan running for the position of the mayor of the city of Blantyre. That will be very much interesting, because as young people, you all have a role to play in the development of our country, and that can only be achieved if we also grab the spaces and be there on the table to make decisions. Because the challenges that young people are facing are inevitable, and certainly young people are the inevitable solution to the inevitable challenges that we do face in this country. So I believe you will be inspired at the end of this conference that you have a huge task, and this country of Malawi is dependent on you and me to actually be active in the spaces, in the activism. I'm glad that most of you are already doing 1 or 2 things in the spaces to contribute towards the development of our country. But we want you to do more. We want you to run in the office. We want to see you in the State House. We want to see you in Parliament. We want to see you in Cabinet. And I wish to send also the message even to our President that we want to see more young people even in the Cabinet. It doesn't make sense that this country should not have a young person in the entire Cabinet. Perhaps that status quo must also change, and it's an appeal that we need to consider young people in those spaces. But also, as the Minister of Youth, we are concerned as young people that institutions such as the National Youth Council of Malawi continue to be underfunded, continue to be dysfunctional, and continue not to effectively work for the benefit or interest of young people in Malawi. Something has to be done to rejuvenate such institutions. They are good institutions, but I think the governance lapses are really affecting the running of such institutions. So let me not take much of your time, but mine was just to thank COMESA for your participation, for your entrusting us to run this conference. Also, let me thank our guest of honor, Councillor Fanny Balaba Kanojerera, for accepting and being delegated by the mayor, who is not with us today, that you can come and be the guest of honor at this function. We are proud of you, that you are a young person, 30 and below, and you hold such a high office of the deputy mayor of the city of Blantyre. I think this is something that we can learn from. It is something that can motivate us, that we can also do it if he is able to do that. Certainly some of us also can be able to attain such status of a higher office in our city. So those few remarks, if at all there were few, thank you so much for your attention.
For National Planning Commission, the Executive Director of SEGO, the District Youth Officer of Blantyre Urban, the Chairperson for the National Youth Network, the conference speakers and the facilitators, youth delegates, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of COMESA Secretariat and indeed on my behalf, I'm happy to be with you in this nice city of Blantyre and to say a few words on the occasion of the opening of this great Indaba. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me to be part of this important event. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, 2 years ago, COMESA Secretariat organized a very good residential capacity strengthening bootcamp, as we witnessed together through the video, which brought together youth leaders and policymakers from COMESA member states. A bootcamp which was held in Arusha, Tanzania, and we are witnessing the outcome of this bootcamp at national level, but also at regional level. Malawi was represented by 2 delegates. One was from the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and the second one was a youth leader, namely Mr. Chimwemwe Kaonga. At the end of the bootcamp, the participants and his colleagues for fulfilling their commitment. This is really a great milestone which needs to be commended. We also take this opportunity to commend the support rendered by the government of Malawi through the Ministry of Youth and Sport to support the youth to reach this milestone. Without this support, I don't doubt that they could have reached these results. So we therefore encourage the youth to always work with the government at both national and local levels for more coordination and meaningful participation of youth in democratic governance and socio-economic development processes. I also wish to appreciate the invaluable support of the Swiss Agency for Development Cooperation, without which this activity would not take place. As a result of this partnership, we have ongoing initiatives, not only in Malawi, but also in other COMESA member states as follow-up of the bootcamp which were held in 2019 and 2020, so that we ensure that the activity we conduct bears meaningful results. Ladies and gentlemen, as COMESA, We look forward to the rich deliberations and recommendations which will emanate from this Indaba, and we believe that this will lead to a strong partnership between youth-led organizations in Malawi and the government, to another milestone for a meaningful participation of young people in all sectors. I'm happy to inform you that addressing issues which related to youth, mainstream are high on the COMESA agenda for the governance and socio-economic development. We are steadfast in our belief that this will ultimately contribute to the achievement of the objectives of COMESA as a region. Even though the COMESA youth program is relatively new, and most of the key decisions were taken only 1 year ago by the Ministerial Meeting on Youth, we are active in participating to strengthen and also to implement the decisions which have been taken by the Ministerial Meeting. With your support and your participation and your leadership, we are confident that we can mobilize together the required support and the momentum needed to deliver on the new goals set in the COMESA Medium Strategic Plan for 2021 to 2025, and the youth empowerment has a great space in this document. I wish to conclude by once again thanking you, dear colleague, dear delegate, for dedicating the time to attend this important youth conference, and wish you fruitful deliberation. I thank you for listening.
The Senior Development Specialist for National Planning Commission, Madam Ivy Chawuya, the Executive Director for SIGO, Mr. Chimweme Gawoka, the District Youth Officer for Blantyre City Council, Madam Martha Chewani, the Chairperson for National Youth Network, Mr. Chikondi Njaya, the corporate speakers and facilitators, youth delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my pleasure to stand in front of you today to welcome everybody to the Youth Indaba on National Development. I would like to extend a special welcome to our guest of honor, the Deputy Mayor for Blantyre City, who will be speaking later today. As the Ministry of Youth, we are so excited to see that the work that we've been putting effort in is now producing fruits. In 2019, there were 2 delegates that were chosen to represent Malawi in the COMESA boot camp in Tanzania, and among them was Mr. Kawonga here, who has organized this meeting today. So we are very proud that our efforts to make sure that youth participation is key in the youth development in Malawi is being producing fruits now. Ministry of Youth coordinates youth development in Malawi, and meaningful youth engagement and meaningful youth participation is a special and important aspect in the ministry agenda. Seeing that a lot of young people from different groups have engaged today to discuss development issues, it's a privilege for the ministry to have such meetings being held. As a Minister of Youth and Sports, we are proud to see that that's the chance that was given to the young people is really trickling down to the peers. And the participation of young people in the COMESA Youth Leadership Bootcamp is enhancing capacity of the young people to participate in policy, democracy, democratic governance, and socio-economic development is being implemented. This is in line with the Malawi Vision 2063 and the MIP 1. So don't worry if you don't know much about the Vision 2063. I mean the Malawi 2063 as well as the MIP 1, because there's a whole lot of representation on this one later today. So the youth budge in this country, there was a survey that was conducted in 2017 that showed that there's a lot of young people in Malawi. About 73% of the population in Malawi are the youth who are at the age between 10 and 85. And this was seen as a problem, but then on the other hand, it's also an opportunity, because now it puts the young people as the drivers of development in the country. So it is up to us as young people, especially the participants, to realize that each one of you is a driver to the development of this country, to the development of this economy. So we cannot have the economy develop if any one of you is left behind. As a young people, with all the potential, skills, and capabilities, the Ministry of Youth, through the National Youth Policy, the Youth Investment Plan, the Youth Engagement Strategy, and the National Youth Service, just to mention a few, hopes and believes that if you are meaningfully engaged and you meaningfully participate in the development issues of this country, it can drive the economy to where it's supposed to be and make a better place for each one of us and a better Malawi. We want you to be meaningfully engaged in all aspects of development in the country, be it in investments, whether it's economic development, social development, as well as political development. We want you to invade all aspects of development in this country, so that every aspect of development in this country is represented by young people, and then to drive the economy and to develop the country according to the Malawi 2063, which is youth-centric, and then the youth are at the center of the development of the country. I hope today inspires ideas and discussions around youth engagement, youth participation, and the meaningful youth participation, where we're not just talking about you being participants, but then meaningfully being involved in the decision making, and not just making the decisions, but then implementing them as well. So individually or and as a group, we're hoping that you will make a difference for this country. And we hope that you will make also a difference in the areas wherever you are, and in the areas that you will be able to make influence. So thank you once again, everyone, for being here today.
So I'm going to recite a poem titled Mother Africa. Her face like a star when she's talking. Her smile portrays the golden beauty inside her heart, symbolizing the verse of cream on honey. Her voice is a full of bitter words, her eyes are red sometimes. Tears are very far from her. She's used and grew up in pain, so her brain was trained to open fire and pretend she's alright. Her ears are widely open, the store of empty promises, vomited by men with big berries. Reach outside, having nothing inside, just smooth voices. Her mask was same as men, proclaiming her working spirit lies in her blood, for she understood nothing comes easy. Tears rolled down on her cheeks, the pain of breastfeeding robbers and thieves. She's going through a roller coaster of emotions. She's growing, seeking for refuge. In a dark despair, my soul is locked inside my mind. I am me, but not me as a me. I am not myself. So slowly I'm suffocating, crying out loud day in, day out. My mind is full of noise. I can't hear my heartbeat, nothing to keep me calm. She's murmuring. I don't even have energy to raise my head up, mentioning your names, accepting you are my children. Tears can speak better than my mouth shame. She's too quick to forgive and trust again. She deserves a maid while she's alive. In my ears, unity, unity, she's whispering. Then when I wake, I need youth on this race. She's crying out loud on top of my lungs. Water my trees, sweet fruits I produce. Sweep my house, perfume smell. Don't go outside looking for bread, leaving me breathing. I trust in you, youth of today. Hold your hands, these wounds will heal. Buy Africa products, invest in your brother. Let love lead you, see me smiling. Vision 2063 Malawians is possible. Gather all your courage just as an eagle fly higher. These teeth gaps you are seeing in my mouth shall heal and bring forth as white as snow ones. From there then my knees will become strong. I'll rise up with a candle in my hands, shining upon your grand and grandchildren, leaving a song in their mouth you overcome. After then I'll sleep calmly like a little baby with a blessing on you. God bless Africa, Mother Africa.
The moment we've all been waiting for, to hear the keynote address by our guest of honor, the Deputy Mayor, Councillor F.B. Kamejele. Ladies and gentlemen, a big, big, big hand for our guest of honor.
No, thank you. Before I go to an official statement, I would love just to say that everybody in this room, please go a courage. When you walk out from this room, you should have a courage to stand in the way of all the challenges with the hope that we can overcome. I've been in so much gathering about the youth at my this age of youth. I'm still on the benchmark of the youth by UN, AU, even Malawi Council. So the challenges are there. Whenever we go to the panel, I know that if you be given a chance to have a patience, there will be a lot of challenges. So youth associated with the challenges, but let's overcome that. The Principal Youth Officer and the Minister of Youth and Sports, Madam Chikondi Jasukwa, the Project Coordinator for the COMESA AU AGR project, Mr. Adrian Nyasiabo, the Senior Development Planning Specialist for National Planning Commission, Madam Ivy Chawia, the Executive Director for Governance and the Leadership, Mr. Chimikaonga, my brother, we always disagree to agree where we do meet, and the District Youth Officer, Ms. Martha Chirowan, one of the people that has mentored me, after mentoring me in my career, the Chairperson of the National Youth Network, Mr. Chikondi Njaya, the conference moderator, and all facilitators, my fellow youth delegates, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning once again. On behalf of His Worship, Councillor Warren Ndipo, Mayor of Blantyre City, it is such great honor for me to stand here before you to attend this important conference of the forthcoming youth in our national development. With joy and humbleness, I would like to welcome you all and thank the organizers for this conference. Allow me to start with commending the Common Market for East and Southern Africa, COMESA, for organizing the youth in our under the theme Building and Enabling an Environment for Youth Participation and Leadership in Development. Ladies and gentlemen, young people are a major human resource for development and the key agents for social change, economic growth, and technology innovation. Participation in decision making is a key priority area of the youth in our field. The Council is doing a considerable amount to invest in youth. We are acquiring knowledge and best practices about the youth issues affecting young people today, and we are making great efforts to engage youth in our negotiating and decision-making processes. Youth participation is the most important key to empower young people, and for this to be successful, we need to follow a number of approaches, such as education and capacity building. Youth-friendly information and materials can be developed with young people themselves through both the traditional and inclusive technology mediums, such as internet, SMs, and etc. The material must also be accessible to youth with disability. The Council also made a commitment to recognize the exemplary efforts by the youth, which they demonstrated through their support in the environmental and the sanitation campaigns. These campaigns are the City Healthy Week and the Green and Green Premises Competition. The participation of Blantyre City youth in such a sustainable development initiatives is a clear manifestation for the well-established nation that the youth are the leaders of today. A core of inclusive youth participation makes a case for stronger gender parity and focus on young people's participation, focusing on participation of the other marginalized groups of youth, such as youth with disabilities, indigenous youth, youth affected by conflict and post-conflict situation, youth affected by HIV and etc. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a need for a collective and a better understanding of what youth participation involves, how it can be implemented for all youth ages. Furthermore, it is crucial to develop a set of variable indicators to complement the goals and targets developed to assess the involvement in youth in the city. The Blantyre City Council's efforts are aimed at achieving appropriate representation and participation of youth in decision-making bodies. As the Chief Executive Director of the SEG was saying that he really needs, is appealing to the Malawi government. I know he was also appealing to Blantyre City Council that we should make sure that in the decision-making bodies, the youth representation are there. As young women and men entitled in the same rights, another approach is to invest in youth participation by supporting programs for young people's civic engagement initiatives, networks, and organizations. Furthermore, to ensure that youth participation is inclusive, equitable, and gender-sensitive, social, economic, and cultural barriers affecting young people must be removed. They should have equal access to education and vocational training to be properly equipped for full participation in society, especially political environment. In conclusion, allow me to plead for more support from various organizations like COMESA, as the city is facing many challenges due to the increased number of unemployment. Young people, of the unemployment young people in the city, we should all take a full responsibility to support youth. Thank you all. May God bless you. Thank you.
10 minutes is enough, so let's break for 10 minutes, giving friends from the media this chance to conduct a number of the interviews with the guest of honor and other invited delegates. After that, after 10 minutes, we should be back to have our presentation. The first presentation comes from Marcel Chisi. It's on the youth as drivers of national development. So this is 25 minutes before 12 o'clock. We expect it to be back by 11:45.